Today, I want to talk about the Cherubs and the Agents of Dorks, their reaction to hell, and what's next for them. As in the trailer, we saw more footage of the agents that didn't appear in the recent episode. Now, the inclusion of the Cherubs and Dorks in the most recent episode was pretty surprising to me, as I thought they would have one joint dedicated episode later down the road. But with there being 2 episodes involving them this season, it seems, this first one was able to give us an interesting perspective on hell from the point of view in the Cherubs, which connects interestingly with Hazbin Hotel. The first scene of the episode showed us what the Cherubs have been up to since we last saw them, which is stealing money from people in order to feed themselves. Keeney, interestingly, says this is so that they don't die, which indicates that the Cherubs, like the Imps, are lower-level natural-born entities in their world who grow and age and die. And the Cherubs want oh so badly to not die because they think that they can still get back into heaven. To do this, they set up scenarios for people to be moral, such as we saw with them letting the guy they rob think he rescued a baby in a stroller. Keeney says this was all to get them back into heaven, as it's giving opportunities for humans to do good deeds to get into heaven themselves, but Colin seems unsure about this. From here, we got an interesting look at what the Dorks had been up to, which was preparing for a large-scale invasion of hell, with even a few attempts with their hell portal involving children, who all ended up massacred, unfortunately. Their portal to hell can only open 2 feet wide, so until the Cherubs showed up, those children were their only option. It would seem that the portal opens to different parts of hell based on where it thinks Blitz is, as they have military technology that can track Blitz, and the same device that tracks him also opens the portal back to the Dorks' headquarters. I imagine that the children were teleported to some vile edge of the Pride Ring, as that's where Blitz spends most of his time. It could even turn out that this area they were transported to is Wonderland, which VivziePop described in early live streams dated back to the late Cretaceous period. This is an area that VivziePop said would possibly not be explored in Hazbin Hotel, but that she had thought about enough to share with the audience. Wonderland was supposed to be a place where the evil energies of hell pool together. This causes the most monstrous plants and animals to grow, more dangerous than in any other part of hell. It would be interesting if that's where these poor children had unfortunately ended up, but since it's hell, it really could have just been anywhere. At the time the Cherubs go through, they just happen to end up in Lust, where Blitz is doing some sexy shopping for his night with Stolas. Now, when the Cherubs make it to hell, they aren't entirely sure what to make of it, and they seem to have imagined it more so the way we do here on Earth. Instead of a civilization with a hellish theme, they imagine it to be more of a prison colony where time is spent torturing the sinners. The Cherubs come into the toy shop thinking the adult toys are weapons for actually torturing people who have sinned on Earth. They can't imagine that people in hell just go out to enjoy a nice night, and they see the busy lines outside of a Lust Ring club, and they imagine the busy nightclubs as being armories and war rooms preparing for large-scale attacks on Earth and the sinners. In the end, the Cherub's idea of hell seems to be that Blitz and his crew are part of a large network of demons who haunt the Earth, instead of Blitz being something of an outlier who is breaking hell's laws by doing so. Sure, there are more legal instances of this. The succubus do come down to spread their vices on Earth, and I imagine that the possessor demon from the upcoming episode haunting a hotel on Earth is likely doing this legally as well. But the Cherub's view of hell as this sort of non-stop torture palace seems to confirm the ignorance the angels had in heaven as seen in Hazbin Hotel. In Hazbin Hotel, it's explained that there is an annual extermination that takes place where angels come down from heaven to kill as many demonic sinners as possible. Despite the large number of angels needed to fight in this battle, it's actually a secret kept from the general population of heaven. This was accidentally revealed when Charlie goes to court to try and prove that sinners should get into heaven. Why Sarah thought this wouldn't come up as Charlie presented her case naturally is beyond me, but it ended up being revealed, and it showed a level of ignorance that the angels of heaven have about hell. Now, it's one thing to keep the idea of the extermination a secret from the people, as they don't want to imagine their loved ones that didn't get into heaven being permanently killed, but the idea that the Cherubs have of them being eternally tortured is actually a lot worse. The Cherubs seem to think there is no social hierarchy at all, and it's just a world that exists to torment people. And don't get me wrong, it's hell. It's a system designed to milk people in toxic ways, but it isn't this overt torture prison that they imagine. The demons aren't these elites who just want people to suffer physically, but instead want to maintain power in this place that they also exist. Now, in the trailer, we also see a shot of Blitz interacting with the Agents of Dorks, who look really disappointed, with Blitz looking like he ended up getting some sort of last laugh on them. He is doing this through an Osmodian crystal portal, which he didn't have access to until the end of the episode, when Stolas finally gifted it to him. This means that sometime in the next few episodes, the Agents of Dorks will be involved again, and I have to imagine that means the Cherubs will be too. The last episode focused more so on them, but I can't imagine that the Dorks just let them go and they part ways, and the Dorks just end up chasing the Helluva Boss gang on their own suddenly. So here's how that could go. Option 1 is a real invasion. What we saw in the most recent episode was that the Dorks were planning for a large-scale invasion of Hell, with an army of priest clones grown in tubes and awesome mech suits. Some fans have speculated that the cloaked figures we see in the trailer that appear after the IMP gang may in fact be Agents of Dorks wearing cloaks. However, some fans have noticed that the hand with its watch looks rather demonic, though this may be the color scheme of not just the Pride Ring, but this scene in particular, which has a lot more atmosphere effects in the background that could be leading to a color tint. Still, I imagine these aren't the Agents of Dorks and that a full-scale invasion isn't actually going to happen. As cool as that would be, it would be hard to write that into the story and not have it affect literally everything, especially with the sister show Hazbin Hotel. I wouldn't be surprised if the interference of Earth through the Dorks does become a bit of an ultimate final plot for the show, but I think it's the threat of it being used that's keeping the plot going. Instead, I think we will get another episode that involves Blitz getting to the Agents of Dork space in some way, but it's hard to say how that would actually go. The fact that we got just one shot from the Dorks that wasn't in the Full Moon episode means they could have left the entire rest of this new episode out. Or, like with the recent episode, it could be directly connected to another plotline instead of being more isolated and self-contained. Like with Full Moon exploring both the Cherubs and Blitz's breakup, maybe Apology Tour will just pick up where Full Moon left off, with the Agents of Dorks tracking Blitz across the 7 rings as he makes his apologies, maybe doing tiny little interference missions along the way. They could be sending little drones in now that they have an idea of what's going on the other side of their portal, and could be doing sabotage after sabotage to make Blitz's apologies end up going terribly. By the end of it, however, Blitz looks like he'll get his final laugh in, with him leaving the agents defeated and disappointed. That being said, it's pretty difficult to pinpoint where a lot of this trailer is supposed to take place now. Some shots with Vraska seem to obviously be from Apology Tour, and the Possessor Demon haunting his own hotel, I have to imagine, is from the episode called Ghost Effers. Yes, I'm still saying Ghost Effers, even though we're allowed to swear at this point in the video. But it's hard for me to pinpoint what the episode called Mastermind will be about if not the Dorks returning. The show is great at misleading us, especially with these teasers and trailers and such, but one thing I'm seeing fans starting to piece together is the idea that Sinsmas will be an episode about the 7 sins themselves, and a meeting that they may be having with the Goetia. So if you want a video about that, sound off in the comments, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it, and let me know any more theories you guys have about how this will all connect. See you guys next time.
Well, 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 if it isn't my arch rival, Racer Rabbit. Shady the Bat, you're here for the magic crystal as well?
Careful, Racer! He almost beat you last time.
I guess we'll have no choice but to battle till the very end, our hands all over each other. No homo. There is no homo that I fear. Well then, may the best homo win!
Wait, what did you say?